What a game we just witnessed. Genuinely, what a game we just witnessed. I know I don't look the best. I know I don't. The lighting's not the best. It doesn't matter. We need to talk about this right now because this is incredible. This is an incredible moment. The Spurs were not supposed to be here, and no one had them here. I didn't have them here. Some people didn't even have them in the play-in. Some people didn't have them in the playoffs. They were the 2 seed. And now they're going to the finals against the Knicks. They beat their reigning champions in 7. And not just like they kind of fluked their way through. They did this shit. I know OKC didn't have J-Dub, but they didn't have AJ Mitchell. You have to bring that in. But honestly, incredible. Incredible job by that entire team. It's incredible. It's genuinely incredible. But let's get into the game. Spurs come out like they've kind of done the whole series. They win the first quarter. Okay. Remember, these games are like chess matches. OKC come out in the second quarter and they look more like themselves. They go on a big run to end the quarter, bring it to, I think, 3 at halftime. And then the box score says 24-24. Which is kind of crazy in hindsight because I think the Spurs went on like a 17-2 run, I think, in that third quarter. This doesn't feel right. I don't know. They might look the same, but the Spurs dominated that third quarter. Once again, if you follow me over on TikTok, if you aren't, you should be. What the Thunder held their hat on, and especially against the Lakers. I know it's a very big discrepancy in talent between the Lakers and the Spurs. But every third quarter against the Lakers, they'd come out and they'd just kill you. They'd put the game to bed in that third quarter. All the 4 games we saw against the Lakers, they put the game to bed. They have not been able to do that this series. At all. Last game, the Spurs won the third quarter and they won the game. This game, the Spurs won the third quarter. I know the box score doesn't say it, but we don't. I know we're technically box score watching, but we don't care. But I think we got to talk about, a certain few guys. And we'll kind of head down the list here. The first guy I want to talk about is none of the guys in the starting 5. None of the guys who played, 20 plus minutes, 10 plus minutes. Luke Cornett probably had a season-saving block on Isaiah Hartenstein. They get the tip out. They're on a fast break. I think they would have put them back up into like 4 to 4, I think. They were down by 6, so it would have brought them back to 4, which is still a 2-possession game. Technically a 1-possession game, but still a 2-possession game. And he runs all the way back and blocks iHeart. That is a season-winning play. Season-winning play. Incredible. And what we've kind of spoken about this whole series is that how are the Spurs going to handle non-Wemby minutes? And for the first couple games, Luke Cornett had like a minus 16 in like 8 minutes because the second Wemby went out, OKC dominated. And in this game, genuinely saved the season with that block. Because there's nothing you want to do in a game 7 in an opponent's arena than give up a fast break layup and let the crowd get into it more. And also cut the lead to 4 or I can't remember, 5 or 4. It was one of those 2. Incredible. Incredible. Luke Cornett, incredible. Dylan Harper, incredible. I'm not gonna go off with him. If you follow me on TikTok, like you should be doing. This guy looks like a veteran. Genuinely like a veteran. He had a 3-point shot kind of in that fourth quarter where it did not look good out of his hand. It was a kind of deep 3, sorry. And he just looks like a vet. He looks like he's played in the league for like 10 years. He looks calmer sometimes than De'Aaron Fox. Another guy we have to talk about is De'Aaron Fox, because I think this is arguably his best game of the series. They rely on De'Aaron Fox to be the kind of steady guard. Hey, when the crowd's up, we need you to go get us a bucket. Calm the nerves of the team. This is still a young team at the end of the day. Julian Champagne's not very old. Wemby's 20-odd. Stephon Castle's 20-odd. Dylan Harper's 19. Even Devin Vassell's like, I think, 24, 25. 25. They're still a young team. Go get us a bucket. Calm it down. And he was incredible today. Incredible. Again, stuff that won't show up on the box score, but just stuff that he was brought in to do. Incredible. Genuinely incredible. Stephon Castle, again, not only is he an elite defender, but his processing this series, I think he helps from having, a point guard next to him. Obviously with, I think, Fox was out the first couple of games. Dylan Harper was out for a couple, I think for a game or two. And when he's not having to be the lead creator, he's incredible. He did have 6 turnovers though. I didn't see that. I can't lie. I thought it was 16, 6 and 6. 6 turnovers. Wow. Okay. Anyways, incredible. So much better when he has a point guard next to him. And still, regardless of the 6 turnovers, you're playing against the best defense in the entire world right now. It's understandable. You know what I mean? It's very understandable. Plus, you're at their home. It says up here 34-7 at home. Pretty hard to beat. And then Wemby is just Wemby again. I love the passion he showed at the end when he won. It's incredible. So excited. And then Julian Champagnie, let's give him a bit of flowers because, I don't think anyone expected a Julian Champagnie legacy game to close out the series, especially after he had such a poor game last game. I think one human being we have to talk about, if we're going to talk about the Thunder, is Chet Holmgren. What are you doing? What are you doing? That is one of probably the worst Game 7, the sorriest Game 7 performances I've ever seen from an All-Star. Genuinely. You took 2 shots in an entire game. As the second best player on the team, you took 2 shots? 2 shots. He took 1 shot in the first half, 1 shot in the second half. You are about to be paid 40 odd million next year, 40, 50 million next year. And you do that? Genuinely disgusting. And the commentators were talking about it all the time. Chet has to get involved. Chet, you have to show some life in the game. Because there were times where you didn't even know if he was on the court or not. Where he was on the court, he was off the court. You couldn't tell. It made no difference. Yes, he had some good blocks. That's Chet. He's 7 foot. But a 7 foot, honestly, a 7 foot, you have 4 rebounds in 33 minutes of basketball. I get it. He plays more of the 4. You can make any, you can change you make any excuse. There we go. Wow. I'm keeping this in. I don't care. You can make any excuse. You're 7 foot tall, bro. You don't fucking grab a rebound. Genuinely. That is, I don't want to be I don't usually get this angry at players, but that's sorry. That's a sorry performance. That's an I'm scared performance. And the team probably lost because of that. Chet has a Chet game, they probably win. And the effects of Chet not being able to do it is that Shea is relying on Jalen Williams, Jared McCain, and Cason Wallace to help him win. 3 players who are not all-stars and are not number 2, 3 guys. They're your bench guys. So Shea at the end of the game, he's exhausted. Because he has no outlet. If Cason Wallace doesn't hit, 2 quick threes, with 4 minutes left, this could have been a lot worse of a game. This could have been an even bigger, not blowout, but a bigger loss. And, on Shea, just incredible. That's what you expect from an MVP. That is an incredible performance. Incredible. Exactly what you expect from your lead player, your leader, the MVP, to go out 35, 9 and 4, or 4 and 9. If you're going to lose, he went down swinging. He played 43 minutes. He just had no help, flat and simple. Caruso has been incredible this series, but are we really relying on Caruso to be a 2? To be the 2 if Chet is just suddenly, already on holiday? No. Even if he had 30 points. Jared McCain is incredible, but not your second. You see what I mean? This domino effect of just Chet simply being not aggressive, not looking for a shot. affects the whole team. That's what happens when you are the second best player on the team, especially when J-Dub's out. You have to take that. And he didn't, and now look where we are. They're going home. You know what I mean? But genuinely, you know, hats off to the Spurs. Genuinely. Because one, was this an incredible series? This was an incredible game. You know, and this is two incredible coaches, incredible teams. What a blessing we got to watch this, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. You know, this is great basketball. This is physical basketball. You know, both fan bases are angry at each other. That's what we love. We love a bit of a rivalry forming. You know, they try to push the Chet Wemby. I think that shit was put to bed tonight. That was incredible. Wemby didn't look scared. He knew what he had to do. Chet looked scared. That is put to bed. I think it's more of a Shea Wemby rivalry now. Hey, I'm here, you know. If I'm Wemby, I'm here. I'm going to the finals. And you know what? I like their chances against the Knicks quite a bit. But we'll get to that in another video. What a game again. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. And bro, what a series. What a series. Bring on this fucking Knicks series, because I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Peace.